vision of that, or you've just lost the whole point of it all.
Is that it? Is that now you're a good barista?
Don't try to go beyond what you can do, because then things start to break, or you start knocking stuff over.
But I love it when a barista like knows that they're an artist.
The barista made you the coffee and you got the coffee. Like, what are you so upset about? Hey guys, welcome to the Coffee Snob podcast, where we talk about coffee, life in the coffee shop world, what it's like for us to own a coffee shop. I own a couple coffee shops right now, maybe even a third one coming up. Don't want to spoil anything, but so my name's Lance. This is Chelsea. If you're just joining us, this is my wife. And yeah, we just talk about, I don't know, the philosophy.
We just
deep
ramble.
Things. Yeah. Deep things about family, how we balance family in the shop, how we look at service, how we look at our baristas, all kinds of stuff. So
I have a question for you.
Oh yeah, what's up? Okay.
Okay. What makes a good barista? Are there some tenets that you look for in people, or that you see them develop over time being a barista? Do they need these things to come into the job? Or is it something that you're trying to get them to?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I've always said since the get-go that not everybody's cut out to be a barista. I don't know if that's necessarily true anymore. I do know that if you're a selfish person, you're not going to be a good barista. That's one thing. Like, you have to be selfless because really a barista, like, I think at its core is all about serving other people, whether that's serving customers or serving your coworkers. It's about being the first in line to do something. It's about being the first in line to make something good. I just feel like that's the core of what a barista is. And so if you're self-serving, or if you're worried about yourself all the time, like, you're just not going to be able to do it. And I think another thing is you've got to have a pretty strong, I don't know how to put this, like a pretty strong mental fortitude to handle pressure well.
Yeah, because you get rushes.
Yeah, because you get big rushes of people, big rushes of drinks, and you're expected to act quickly, act accurately, and act patiently all at the same time. So it's like you have this big sense of urgency, that pressure that's on you, and yet you have to make a conversation with the person across the counter at the same time, and you have to communicate to your coworkers what's going on. And then at the same time, like, you can't just melt down. You can't get frustrated, because I don't know. There's like
people need their coffee.
Because people need their coffee, and people need you to be nice. You can't get so caught up in your work that you lose track of who's in front of you, because it's still, the service is the relationship. The service isn't necessarily just the coffee, but it's the person across the counter. Like, you can't lose vision of that, or you've just lost the whole point of it all. So, and it takes a lot of mental fortitude to do that.
Yeah, and probably emotional too, right? I've been at places, and I've been at coffee shops where people have just had a bad attitude and have been really ugly to me across the counter. And sometimes, we know, being in the service industry, we get customers that are rude, and that are, or come across as rude, when really they might just be having a bad day. And if you don't have an emotional resiliency, you're not going to handle those people well. And then I've been to places where I've been kind, and I've still been treated poorly, and like,
Yeah.
Maybe there's something going on in that barista's day or home that I don't know about, but maybe you don't need to be back there making coffee right now. Maybe you need to kind of deal with the thing that's in front of you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And my biggest question to you is, when you walked into that coffee shop, you wanted a coffee, right? You just wanted a coffee.
Yeah.
You paid for the coffee. The barista made you the coffee and you got the coffee. Like, what are you so upset about? You know?
Well, I don't think I just wanted coffee, right?
Right. Yeah.
I have a whole day ahead of me. I truly didn't want, what I didn't want was a bad experience to start my day off.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's like, why was it such a bad experience? And I'm asking this in kind of playing the devil's advocate, because it's really important for us to be in their shoes and to say, like, you know, this person is not just coming in here to get a coffee. This person is coming in here to get an experience with another person.
Yeah.
And to get a coffee while they're doing that.
And to get some coffee. Yeah.
But I would say the reason customer service is so important, it's just as important as, say, the quality of the drink, is because it really is. It's both. It's not just one or the other. It's both. They want a personal connection with the person across the counter, and they want a good product. I just think, like, you know, that's why it's so important for a barista just to be selfless in what they do. They can't be selfish, because they have to see that person across the counter before themselves. They can't consider themselves at the time. And, you know, I've just had, it's like you said, like, if you're not in a good place mentally, you probably need to just take a sec and chill and breathe. I've had people, like, in tears in behind this counter, in tears. And I mean, I've got the best customers in the world. They are so nice to us. And they're still, you know, they have this huge line of drinks, and they're just, like, so frazzled that they're crying. And I'm just like, hey, it's gonna be all right. Like, we're gonna make these drinks. Just, you know, just get the syrup in that one and then hand it over to me and we'll go. But it's really like, you got to talk them down. You got to make sure that, you know, because at the end of the day, this is what I always tell my baristas, like, you can only do what you can do.
Right.
But do that. You know what I mean? Do what you can. Don't try to go beyond what you can do, because then things start to break, or you start knocking stuff over. Like, it's just like, it's really important that you know your limitations, and you just take care of business like that.
Okay, so
one drink at a time.
So we have, for good qualities for a barista to have, is selflessness and a servant's attitude.
Yeah. So service,
And then you have mental and emotional resiliency or fortitude.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, I always tell people too, like, a good barista is a clean barista. Like, you can be great back there, and if you make a big mess and you leave it, nobody's going to want to work with you. And then when I see the mess, I'm going to be like, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, come clean this. Clean this up. And like, I mean, you could be fast, you could be accurate, you can make perfect drinks, but if you leave a big, huge mess, you know, you lose like the showmanship of it.
Yeah.
And so customers are looking at you and you're like, ugh, it's disgusting back there. And you've got all your coworkers ticked at you because they've got to go clean up your mess.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing is, you know, be clean.
Be clean. I think too that I like my barista to be clean, like clean with their space, but also clean on their person. Like, you're in food service, like, be tidy. I mean, you can have a nice beard like Lance here, but, like, be tidy.
Yeah.
Keep your person tidy. If you have long hair, keep your hair back. Just be clean about yourself.
Don't wear athletic shorts and old tennis shoes with your socks halfway up.
I mean, you're a barista. You could have your own style. You could get some black frame glasses and a fedora. Like, you could wear whatever you want because you're a barista.
Yeah.
It's basically like an excuse to have, like, this persona.
Yeah.
Like putting on a costume every day.
And you totally could. Like, I even have guys who, you know, they go a little outside of the box. And it's just fun. And sometimes they dress like that, and then sometimes they don't. Yeah. And that's what makes it fun, you know?
But be clean.
But they're clean. It's still barista professional.
Yeah.
It's still hipster casual.
Hipster coffee shop hipster.
So yeah, I also think, so we've got selflessness, we've got service, cleanliness, mental fortitude. And then another thing I would just say is just, oh man, I don't even know how to do this, how to say this, but like, almost like accuracy.
You're saying that because you don't want to say excellence again?
Well, I would say, well, excellence, I think accuracy makes you excellent because everything you do is precise. Yeah. Even how you handle things, like it all becomes muscle memory at some point once you do it so many times. So you can be accurate in what you're doing, you barely have to think about it. Like I can steam a perfect pitcher of milk and barely even think about it. In fact, the other day I pulled a shot, I started steaming my milk, and I had a pour over going. So I'm like steaming milk and I've got a pour over here. And like one of my baristas is like, what are you doing over there? You know? And I'm like, I'm just making a pour over and making a latte at the same time, you know? No big deal. Because I've done it.
It's just an extension of who I am.
I've done it hundreds of thousands of times, maybe more than that, you know? And I'm like, you know, it's just part of me now. And so I don't even have to like,
you're not even human anymore.
I don't even have to fill the pitcher anymore. I can listen to the milk and tell that, okay, I'm at 140 degrees right now. I need to cut the steam off and let it, you know. And that's real, you know, it's just.
So does that make you a milk whisperer? Like
I think it makes me,
listen
like, I've been doing this for like 20 years, and I think you just get like that. Yeah. Like even Sarah, she's like that at Blackjack's.
Yeah, she is.
She can hear it.
She's a milk whisperer.
But yeah, it's one of those things that you just get really accurate with. I don't let my baristas use thermometers because I really think like they can be accurate in getting the temperature of the milk with their hand and their ear. So like they don't get to use a thermometer in the milk. I don't know why that's something that I just stand on, but I'm like, you don't need it. Like I want you to be good and accurate at what you do. I want you to look at what you're doing. I don't want you to separate yourself from the process. I want you to be in it.
But we also, you know, everything is measured out. That accuracy is also preciseness. So we're going, you know, by the gram on our measurements, on our syrups, things like that. So I think that's kind of part of being clean too. I mean, clean has all different aspects, but that accuracy and that preciseness is just keeps you from being sloppy. Yeah. Keeps it clean.
Yeah. And I even think like that's part of, like you said, that's part of keeping things tidy. So like early on when you're a barista, you take the milk out of the fridge, you pour your pitcher, and then you set the milk jug on the counter. And then you start making the next drink and you open the fridge and there's no milk in there. And all of a sudden you panic. And you're like, because you're trying to make a drink and you're just trying to do muscle memory. You're all of a sudden like, where's my milk? Where's my milk? And it's literally right here. And you're like, and then you slow down enough to say, okay, it's sitting right where I left it. The next time you put it in the refrigerator. So it's like, it's getting that muscle memory to put it right back. But it's like that with everything. It's like that with how you pour and how you put a lid on. And it just becomes really accurate and precise. And I'd say that's what makes, I look at stuff like that with baristas to say like, you've gotten to this level where you're paying attention to what you're doing in such a way that you can look into a cup and see the amount of syrup in it and say, that's too much syrup or that's not enough. And you can identify mistakes just by lifting up a cup and saying, that's way too heavy. You know what I mean? Or that's way too much. And you just get to this point where you're part of it. You're a part of the process. It's kind of an extension of what you're doing. So I don't know. Is
that it? Is that now you're a good barista?
I would say the next thing would be leadership skills. And I think that's what sets a barista like up on the top tier. When they get these other things down and then they start leading other people, that's when they definitely like have my attention. Because leadership is the next point, because I would say like leadership is just good service. It's serving your coworkers. You know, you can serve the customer, you can make an excellent drink, you can have great customer service, but then when you start leading other baristas into what you're doing and into your excellence, then you've come to a point where like you're serving your coworkers in such a way that, you know, you're leading them first. So like when it's time to clean drains or it's time to, you know, do the hard stuff, all of a sudden you're the first one to do it because you're leading, you know? And then they can say, hey, so-and-so is doing that. I want to do that, you know? And I'm serious. Like it's in such a way that it's like, they can be good at that. I have respect for this person. And while I know it sucks to clean drains, I have respect for this person in such a way that they're doing this every single night. And like, it almost makes you to where you're saying to yourself, like, I want to be them. I want to emulate them. I want to be excellent. I want to serve well, and I want to lead. So I'm going to step into those shoes. I had those people, you know, with myself, even early on when I was at Starbucks, and I emulated those people to the point where I became them, you know, I became them in such a way where, I led my own people next, you know?
I would say too, and maybe this is like the feminine side, but I love it when a barista like knows that they're an artist and they appreciate art, they appreciate beauty, they appreciate, you know, the art of food has more to do with more than just what the drink looks like, you know, but all the flavor notes and the experience of it, the smells, all the senses that are affected by art makes you feel a certain way. And like, I mean, we've got a lot of male baristas here, and we've always had them at Lingleville, and they've all embraced the artistry of it.
Yeah.
And that's what makes them good. People love that when they come in here. They love that the cup of coffee they get is beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a big deal. But I also think like you can't do art until you get good at something.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's almost like it's the final thing that like makes people see like, oh wow, he's really good at that.
Yeah.
Because he just made it art.
He just made it beautiful.
It's like, yeah, anybody can like bang on the piano, you know, and make noise, but it takes the guy who's an expert to play jazz, to know the rules of the piano, to know the rules of music, but then to break all the rules and still make something excellent. Like that's when you get really good at something. When you can do something almost like, I'm doing this in a different way it's not protocol.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it's still good. Like say pulling the perfect ristretto shot, you know, where you overpack the coffee. It's like, it's too much coffee for the water, but then you slow down the process in such a way because you got so much in there that it still takes, you know, maybe 40 seconds to pull just a half an ounce of coffee with way too much coffee. But it's like, it's different, it's unique, but it's still really good. I don't even know.
You're an artist.
Yeah.
I can
well,
tell
you guys
by the
don't
way
even,
you're,
yeah,
we
you
don't
probably
know
don't even know
I
what a
have no
ristretto
idea
shot
what it
is. If you know what a ristretto shot is, leave it in the comments below.
Well, yeah. I also think that on that thread about like service and selflessness, you know, because that's really, we talk about this a lot, but like loving people, that's in there. But I also, our best baristas here are connecting with the customers. Yeah. So you can like love people and serve them and make them an excellent drink and not say anything and not look them in the eyes and not connect with them, and it's not as good, right? It's you are serving and you're loving, but if you're not connecting with our customers, that's why we always like for here our machine is not faced in such a way, we don't ever have our baristas back to the customer. So we're never gonna have it on that back wall where we take your order and then we turn our back to you to make the shot. Yeah. Right? We want to either be facing you so we can talk to you over the machine, or we're gonna have it to the side so that you can see what we're doing and we can talk to you. Because making art takes time sometimes. Our pour over is like 3.5 minutes. And our good baristas are connecting with the customer. Yeah. They're having conversations and they're able to make art. They're able to make their drinks and do their stuff while carrying on a conversation. And that's really next level for a barista.
Well, I think when you do that, then you're giving people what they came in for. It's like we started this conversation with. They came for the human connection and they came for their cup of coffee. So if you can engage them while you make that cup of coffee, then yes, like you got it. You're giving the customer, which is actually like all of our boss. It's like top dog boss, you know.
Customer's king.
The customer is who I take orders from, you know. And so when we can give them what they want, then we've all done a good job. And a good barista they know how to connect with people.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like a bartender.
And it's crazy because like I don't know, like we hear crazy stuff all the time from customers, just here and there. Or even when like some of our regular customers are like going through it, like something bad is going on, then like it's just time to give them a big hug. Yeah. And just be like, can I just pray for you? Or can I, what do you need? Can I bring you a meal?
Are going on, we're celebrating with them and all of that joy and everything's getting multiplied in the store, and because we're connecting with people. Yeah. Yeah. So that's good.
These are awesome.
Freeze-dried Skittles, folks.
Freeze-dried Skittles with like chili tahini on the outside of them. I guess this will be like our product of the day. So good.
Product of the day.
Freeze-dried Skittles. Let's go. Get them at the Lincolnville Country Store.
Okay, so if you're starting out at a coffee shop and you want to be the best barista you can be, love people by being selfless, servant-hearted, and connecting with them. Love coffee by being precise and accurate and honing in on your art and practicing. Yeah. Right? Be clean about your space, about your product, about your person.
And serve others well.
And be a leader.
To the people around you, yeah. And I would say like that's the thing that's gonna make you stand out. And I'll just tell you, like, you guys, if you're a barista, you guys might be working for a corporation, you might be working for mom and pop, you might be working for some tyrant, I don't know. But I'm telling you, like, if you put these things into practice, if you do your work not unto them, but do it as if you were the owner of that shop, what you would do in that situation, how you would want your employee to act, I'm telling you, you will get noticed. You will get promoted. You will go to the place that you want to be because you'll be there already. They'll just have to catch up. And honestly, and if you're not noticed, then find a place that will notice you, go for it, move to where you need to be, so.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for joining us today. I hope you guys got something from this podcast today. It's talking about just excellence, talking about being an awesome barista. I think it's really important just to be a great barista all the way around, not even when I'm at the shop, serving people well, loving people well, doing anything that I'm doing, do it the best of my ability. I just think that's so important just to life, to having meaning and purpose, and being proud of what you're doing. So, hey, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.